So there's a lot of things that you can say about Nipsey Hussle that's good. But one of them in particular is that he was an innovator and a visionary. Why do I say that? Well, I'm going to let you know as we watch this video. I came across this video and it not only did it really highlight the level that Nip was on when it came to the moves he was making, as you know, somebody who just came from the hood, got into the rap game, so on and so forth. But I ain't gonna hold you. It does take you to that conspiratorial, that conspiracy theory world where if he was on this and this is what he was trying to do, is it outside the realm of possibility that somebody wouldn't want him to do that? And what is that? Well, we're gonna look at it. So look, I got this video, right? The name of the video is How Nipsey Hussle Stole Apple's Entire Business Model and Made It Work in the Streets. And when I started watching this video, I thought it was just going to be another cheesy type, Nipsey video that people try to make just to get views. No. This is a really good video. And the things that's pointed out in this video are things that Nipsey himself has said. And when you see what he was doing, what he was trying out, some of y'all maybe already be on to this, but a lot of y'all might not be. You got to watch this video all the way through to the end, man. And make sure you leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section below and let me know what y'all think about this. But let's get started. Also, the name of the channel is Hustlers in the Hood documentary. So the link will be in the description. Make sure you go check them out, subscribe to their channel and give them a like.
How Nipsey Hussle stole Apple's entire business model and made it work in the streets.
One of the lines, you said something about you're integrated vertically.
Yeah, I said,
my cultural influence, even revolution. I'm integrated vertically, y'all niggas blow it.
This man sold a $100 mixtape and people lined up around the block to buy it.
I kind of was inspired by the Apple store.
It was like he's triggered.
He kind of shit on my idea, like, fuck.
You got to act and you've got to be willing to fail. You know, with starting a company, whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
I look at Apple, I see them following the same rules.
You know, very few companies or brands are integrated vertically.
We built the whole economy on Crenshaw and Slauson.
We scrambling, trying to get the store open. We finally ready.
The greatest people are self-managing. They don't need to be managed.
I was like, we about to make the store a smart store. So I'm like, what? I'm like, no. I don't got time for that. I don't even know what, like you say, I don't know what is a smart store.
Sure, it'll have a Marathon logo on the back. We got an app, you can download the app.
Once they know what to do, they'll go figure out how to do it.
He make everything, he go in and he integrated with the clothing and it was the first smart store. Just like,
yeah. Now, so Nip passed, well, he was deleted in 2019, March, right? So way back then, well, even before that, of course, because that's just when that event happened. But even before that, he was already on this and this whole smart store thing, right? But one thing I want to say, so because he's talking about vertical integration, and in order to get the picture and understand the magnitude of what he's saying and why possibly record labels and things like that would not want this to happen, you got to understand vertical integration. And they do go into this a little, but I'm gonna just read this to you guys from the website or from Google. I mean, my bad. Vertical integration is a business strategy where a company takes control of multiple stages of its production or supply chain, potentially including both suppliers and distributors. This can involve acquiring or merging with companies involved in earlier stages upstream or later stages downstream of the process. Goal is often to increase control, reduce costs, and improve efficiency. So in other words, you're controlling pretty much every step of the process, right? Or as many steps of the process as you can, cutting out middlemen, end men, beginning men. It's all you from start, conception, production, distribution, so on and so forth. Everything is controlled by you. This is what Apple has done. And this is why, and this is what Nip mean when he says he's taking it, the model from Apple, how Apple controls every step of the process. And those of you who are iPhone people or Apple people know exactly what I'm talking about. But he's taking that and using it in music, right? When it comes to music. Now let's keep going.
Hustle, the genius of hustle, man.
My goal is to be like hip.
What, like you say, I don't know, what is the smart store?
Shirt, it'll have a marathon logo on the back. We got an app. You can download the app.
Once they know what to do, they'll go figure out how to do it.
He make everything, he go in and he integrated with the clothing, and it was the first smart store. Just like hustle, the genius of hustle, man.
My goal is to be like hip hop's first completely vertically integrated brand.
The ones that succeed are people that just have an idea that they want to get out, express out into the world.
We honor the people that ain't quit. We honor the people that stay down.
And oftentimes they have to start a company because nobody else will listen to them.
You know, you look at companies like Apple, raw material to retail.
That's the vision behind the marathon store.
See, he said, you look at Apple, raw material to retail. So you're sourcing your own materials. You're fabricating your own items. You control every step of the process, all the way to the sale of the product. Not only that, but everything about that product, how users interact with that product. Just like he said with the smart store, you scan the app, you scan the shirt, other stuff will start popping up. So his vision was to control everything from every step of the process, from making music to the store, have everything intertwined, right? Sourcing the products to make the clothes, on and on and on, right? To not have distributors have any control or say so, to not have record labels have any control or say so, to not have any brands, whether it's clothing brands or music brands, have any control or say so, but you are in control of the process, which means you can control how you interact with your customers. Nobody can cut you off. Nobody can cancel you. Nobody can tell you what to do because it's all you from start to finish.
While Apple was selling $1,000 phones, Nipsey Hussle was moving $100 CDs like they were limited edition Jordans. Same strategy, different streets. Apple didn't get rich selling iPhones. They got rich by controlling everything. Chips, devices, software, even the stores you buy them in. No middlemen, no dependencies, just total control. The biggest risk is not taking any risk. Mark Zuckerberg said that, but Nipsey Hussle lived it and reverse engineered Apple's entire playbook without ever setting foot in Silicon Valley. But here's the crazy part. While most artists were begging labels for deals, Nipsey was building what Apple built, complete vertical integration. He owned his masters, he owned his store, he built his brand from scratch and ran it like a CEO. Every dollar, every message, every move flowed through channels he controlled. Apple and Nipsey, on the surface, they couldn't look more different. But if you strip it all down, they both discovered the same truth. The secret that separates legends from the forgotten is ownership. So what does $1 trillion tech empire and a street entrepreneur from South LA have in common? They both cracked the code most businesses die trying to figure out. Complete vertical control. Stay locked in, because today's video breaks down how one blueprint built two empires and why 99% of people will never understand this level of strategic thinking. Let's get into it. Welcome to Hustlers in the Hood. Now, before we break down how they pulled this off, we need to understand the foundation both empires were built on. What is vertical integration?
The companies that like destroy industry, like Apple.
Apple got 100% vertical integration. They control the aesthetic of the store, operating system, the product, the whole shit.
Say your homie starts a clothing brand. He comes up with the designs, but he sends them to a third-party printer. Then he lists the shirts on Amazon to sell. Sounds like a business, right? Wrong. He's got no business. He's got a job. Because when you zoom out, you'll see what's really going on. The printer controls his production. Amazon controls pricing, shipping, and customer data. Everybody's taking a cut. He's not running the system. He's just another plug in someone else's machine. Now flip the script.
Now, I don't fully agree that he doesn't have a business. I don't agree with that, because this is essentially my business, except I don't do clothes. But he is right when he's talking about everybody's taking a cut and he's really not in control. Look, I sell on all the major, well, I just had a problem with Walmart, but I was selling on all major platforms, Walmart, Amazon, eBay. And I source my products from third parties. I get them in. But at the end of the day, one of the things when I do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, one of the weaknesses and even a threat is the fact that I don't control my business because I don't have my own website and I really don't have my own product. I'm just buying other people's products and selling it on other people's platforms, and it can be taken away and it would leave me trying to figure out what else I could do. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things I've been trying to think of is how can I start taking more control over my business? So I don't fully agree that it's not a business. It's a business, but you are, you're working really kind of you're more dependent on those outside factors, right? And so you have very little control over fee structure, whether or not they'll even fucking suspend you and let you sell on their platform. So I get that part.
Same dude, but this time he prints the shirts himself, sells them on his own website, controls the branding, sets his prices, and owns every customer relationship. Every piece of the pipeline belongs to him. That's vertical integration.
I always felt like what make Apple dope is the complete ecosystem.
Apple integrates everything. It integrates product management, marketing, manufacturing, engineering.
You get your phone, the same colors that the operating system on your phone is, the same colors in their store. Apple got the Apple campus where they train their employees and they, manufacture their chips. A vertically integrated is words. Like, I didn't see that in rap.
Old school vertical integration for the business school students.
It's not just about making a product. It's about owning the entire journey, from idea and raw material to the customer. No middlemen skimming profits, no outside forces calling shots, maximum ownership, maximum upside. But when you control the full pipeline, you don't just make more money, you control how people experience your brand, who gets access to it, and what it means to the world. And that's exactly why Apple and Nipsey cut out the middleman. But here's where it gets interesting. They both took this concept and weaponized it in ways most people never even noticed. Monetizing control, Apple Music versus Proud to Pay. Apple could have just made iPhones and called it a day, but they saw Spotify controlling music distribution and said, nah, we're building our own lane. First with iTunes, which allowed users to purchase music directly, then with Apple Music, essentially combining their two biggest products. They didn't want a slice of the streaming pie. They wanted to own the entire bakery. When you buy...
Hell, and not only did they do that, but then they became pretty much like one of the authorities in music, right? That people quote, oh, you're number one on Apple Music. People take that shit serious. So they didn't just say, hey, we're going to start our own music company or this or that, but they made sure that their name carried weight in that space. So this is what Nip was trying to do with his brand, with the marathon, with his music, with all of that. All right. Cut out the middleman, cut out the labels, cut out the clothing companies, cut out all the people who want to take a piece of the pie and give you less control over everything when it comes to your business, profitability, customer experience, so on and so forth. It's crazy, man. This dude was on a different level, man.
Music through Apple, you're not just going through some third-party service taking cuts. You're buying directly from them. Higher margins, deeper loyalty, stronger ecosystem. Every purchase makes their grip tighter. It's not just the music, it's called infrastructure. That's vertical integration in motion. Nipsey Hussle saw this playbook and couldn't wait to replicate it in Crenshaw.
We ain't set the business model. Steve Jobs and Apple said 99 cents a song.
He's read Contagious by Jonah Berger, a book about making ideas spread. One insight changed everything. People don't just buy products, they buy meaning. That logic clicked. Just like Apple, the message was clear. Don't let someone else package your vision, own the platform, and control the narrative. So in 2013, he dropped the Crenshaw mixtape for $100. Not through a label, not on iTunes, direct to fans. Each tape came with exclusive memorabilia and concert tickets. He called it Proud to Pay, fans supporting the music directly, zero middlemen involved.
I thought that there was a potential for it to be supported, but I didn't expect it to people to gravitate to it as much as they did. I was surprised. I thought I could sell 1,000 units. That was the goal, to sell 1,000 units at $100 each, but it turned into a wildfire.
$100 mixtape might have sounded wild at the time, but the math was beautiful. No label taking 80%, no streaming service taking 30%, no retailer taking cuts, just creator to platform to fan. Jay-Z co-signed the idea and bought 100 copies. The media lit up. More importantly, the model proved itself. Each sale wasn't just a transaction. It was a statement from the fan saying, we believe in this and we want to be a part of it. Here's how it looks when you break it down. Traditional music model, artist, label, streaming, fan. At every step a cut is taken, a layer is added, the connection weakens, the profit gets smaller. Apple and Nipsey's model, creator, platform, fan. No friction, no filters, total control. Neither were chasing volume, they were building value, and they did it by owning every step, from creation to community. But here's where the strategy gets even more powerful, because vertical integration doesn't stop online. The real game changer is controlling where the product meets the people. Retail ownership. Apple.
Hey man, real quick. This is crazy shit right here. This is crazy. You can almost see the record labels in them why they wouldn't want something like this to happen. why they wouldn't want an idea like Nipsey, why they wouldn't want a person like Nipsey to succeed at what he was doing. You know how much of an upheaval all those industries would be in if people really started doing this? And so even if I was to put on my tinfoil hat, yeah, look, at the end of the day, it probably was just hating as Negroes that was doing hating Negro stuff, right? But when you look at this, when you hear this, when you listen to him and you see what he was doing, it's not outside the realm of possibility that there was more to it. Because what if it worked? What if he continued to prove the concept, it continued to grow, and more people kept doing it? I'm just saying, man, just what if? I would have loved to have seen what that would be like today. What we talking about? He passed in 2019, 6 years or so, right? I would love to have seen, man, where he would be at with this concept, with this model today, 6 years later, and how successful it would be. Because again, he didn't come up with it. Apple did. He just copied their strategy, which worked perfectly, right?
Stores versus the Marathon store.
The Marathon store, I kind of was inspired by the Apple.
Vertical integration doesn't stop online. The real game changer is controlling where the product meets the people. Retail ownership. Apple stores versus the Marathon store.
The Marathon store, I kind of was inspired by the Apple store. When you go into the Apple store, the colors is the same as the Apple packaging. The vibe is the same. They got a certain aesthetic. They got the glass stairs.
Apple figured this out early. If you control the store, you control the story. That's why you just can't walk into Walmart and grab an iPhone. You go to an Apple store. You walk into a world, because that store isn't just a sales counter. It's part of the product, the layout, the lighting, service packaging. Everything's designed so when you walk in, you're not just buying a phone. You're stepping into their ecosystem. When you own the retail experience, you just don't sell. You shape perception. You control the message, the margins, and the moment of truth. Now here's where the parallel runs even deeper. When Apple was crafting luxury retail experiences in high-end malls, Nipsey was doing the same, right in the heart of Crenshaw and Slauson with the Marathon store. But like Apple stores, this wasn't just a place to cop t-shirts. It was a physical extension of Nipsey's brand, a command center.
Well, and before we get into that part of it, it's just like Starbucks too, right? Starbucks is essentially selling the same type of coffee beans for the most part that a billion other coffee shops sell, right? But they provide an experience and they charge more for it. Like there's no coffee bean that Starbucks has that no other coffee shop can't get. There's no flavor that Starbucks got or drink that Starbucks make that no other coffee shop can get. But they charging people 2-3 times the price, right? And people are still paying it enough that Starbucks is still in business, right? And when you go in there, it's an experience. Each store looks the same. Hell, not too long ago, they just redid a bunch of them. And so from store to store, a lot of times people will pay more for that experience, even if they know they can get the same thing cheaper somewhere else, right?
I didn't see no hip hop artists with their own retail aesthetic and they retail, network. So I was like, it'd be dope to establish my own retail space that when we drop albums, we can go to Best Buy, we can go to Target, we can also go to the Marathon store. And when you get in there to buy the album, you surrounded with other products. I see Crenshaw shirts in the crowd and Marathon hats and all that.
Nipsey owned the building, controlled every piece of inventory, integrated apps and augmented reality to create digital experiences tied to physical products.
We scrambling, trying to get the store open. And we did like a little mini doc. We finally ready, probably like a week and a half before the grand opening. And Hussle like, we about to make the store a smart store. So I'm like, what? I'm like, no. We don't got time for that. I don't even know what, like you say, I don't know what is a smart store. He's like, no, trust me, bro. But we don't got time. So he make everything, he go in and he integrated with the clothing and it was the first smart store. And that's why I just like, Hussle, the genius of Hussle, man.
This wasn't a boutique or pop-up. It was culture, technology, and storytelling wrapped in one space.
It's a smart store. So if anybody had a Crenshaw shirt, it'll have a Marathon logo on the back. We got an app. You can download the app and you can stream content off the app onto your phone.
limited drops, community connection, exclusivity that made every purchase feel earned, not just bought. Nipsey wasn't just selling merchandise, he was controlling the point of contact. The same strategy as Apple in a different neighborhood, but with the same discipline. Here's how it looks when you break it down. Brand control funnel, product, store, experience, loyalty. Apple's version. They made the device, sell it in their store, deliver the experience, and keep the customer locked in for life. Nipsey's version. He creates the music and merch, sells it at the Marathon store, builds an exclusive experience, and turns fans into believers. In both models, the store isn't an add-on, it's a strategic asset. It closes the loop between creation and community. That's how vertical integration evolves from a business concept into a cultural weapon. If you're feeling this video so far, please leave a...
Hey, yo, is this why the labels wanted to get rid of the smart rappers and start getting behind the dumb rappers? Right? They see guys like this with ideas like this, with the will and the drive to actually make it happen and some money and resources behind them. So they say, you know what? We got to get these fools out the way and we got to start getting these ignorant dudes up in here because no, we can't let this happen. Like, just think about that, man. Labels don't want this. They don't want this type of guy around. He's not good for business. These ideas are not good for business when it comes to their business. There's nothing about what they talking about that's good for the labels. They don't want to back somebody like this for real. They don't. They want to back the dumb nigga that's talking about shooting other niggas and just want to buy some chains and a car and, you know, F women and all that. That's what they want to do. That's who they want to put. They want to put their money behind the Ice Spices. Y'all know I just did that video. That's who they really want to fund, right? Ice Spice and them. No, they don't want this type of guy thriving. Not at all.
And now this is where the strategy really pays off, because the final layer of this model isn't just about making money today. It's about building something that outlives you. Long game, Apple's developers ecosystem versus Vector 90. Now here's where Apple's genius really shows. They didn't just sell devices. They built an ecosystem where everyone else could plug in and build wealth, while Apple controlled the infrastructure. Take the App Store, for example. Developers create apps, but Apple owns the rails, the distribution, monetization, and the rules. They give developers tools like Xcode and APIs. But once you build for Apple, you're locked into their world, and so are the users. Apple turned millions of developers into value creators, all while taking 30% of every transaction. That's not just vertical integration, that's vertical domination. This strategy empowers others to innovate while ensuring that Apple remains at the core of a vast, interconnected digital economy. Nipsey took that same principle and flipped it into real-world infrastructure. Again, right in South Central. Nipsey's vision extended beyond music and merchandise. He recognized that true empowerment came from creating opportunities for others to build and succeed. That vision materialized into Vector 90, a co-working space and STEM center in South LA, co-founded with real estate developer David Gross. Vector 90 wasn't just some community center with computers. It was an incubator for the next generation.
So Vector 90 is a 5,000 square foot. The top level is a co-work space for any inner city entrepreneurs, inner city co-work space. And in the bottom half is a science, technology, engineering, and math center, which is basically the skill set you need to go into Silicon Valley.
Just like Apple created tools for developers to build apps, Nipsey created a space for his community to build futures, coding boot camps, entrepreneurship programs, and tech access for kids who've never seen it before.
There's an incubator aspect of it that as these entrepreneurs utilize the space to create companies, apps, visionary things, they can bring it to Dave and myself and the rest of the team and make a pitch. And every year we're going to fund 4 of them.
The strategy was identical. Apple built a digital ecosystem. Nipsey built a physical one. And in both cases, the mission was the same. Create a platform where others can build, succeed, and pass it on. Apple enables developers to reach global markets. Nipsey enabled local talent to reach their potential. Different scales, same system.
Bro, think about how much was affected by him, being taken away so soon. Just think about everything we seeing and listening to. These are huge ideas. Huge. I don't even think I don't want to understate that. These are huge ideas, man. It takes vision to do that, to take something that a tech company did with success and apply it to your music, your neighborhood, your clothing business, to apply it to that different level different area, same concept, and to move forward with it and to actually be building it. And just when you start, and just when it gets started, it all comes to an end, man. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Who was he a threat to? For real, for real. Who are these ideas a threat to? Right? That's the question. Who are these ideas a threat to? What does these ideas threaten? It threatens an establishment, right? Threatens a way of business that's been being done for years and years that they don't want to upset.
Quick head-to-head comparison. Let's break down what you're really looking at. Two completely different worlds. Identical architecture, product. Apple dropped iPhones. Nipsey dropped mixtapes and meanings. Both delivered value that people lined up for. Platform. Apple had iTunes and iOS. Nipsey had Proud to Pay and TMZ app. Owned platforms. Owned experience. Distribution. Apple's 500 plus stores worldwide. Nipsey's Marathon store in Crenshaw. Each one a controlled environment. Curated. Intentional. Theirs. Retention. Apple locks you in with iCloud and Apple ID. Nipsey locked in fans with drops, apps, and direct access. Not customers, but community. And the long game. Apple empowers developers to build inside its world. Nipsey created Vector 90 so his people could build inside theirs. Ownership was never the end goal. It was always about the system. Vertical integration all the way through. Now, when you see all of this laid out side by side, something becomes crystal clear. This isn't about just two success stories. This is about a blueprint that most people completely miss. When people talk about Nipsey, they always remember his grind, the tragedy, and the inspiration. But his real genius was in the design. He didn't chase cosigns. He created control. He didn't license his brand. He built the infrastructure to deliver it. What you're looking at is vertical integration built from the ground up. A blueprint that turned fans into investors, a neighborhood into a network, and a hustle into a system that could run with or without him. The stores still operate. Brand still moves. The system still runs. And that's the point. This wasn't some lucky break or street hustle gone viral. This was intentionally engineered architecture. Apple showed the world what vertical integration looked like within Silicon Valley. Nipsey showed us how it could live on Crenshaw and still scale, still last, still inspire. This is the kind of playbook that builds generational wealth. And Nipsey mapped it out piece by piece. If you learn something from this breakdown, don't just like it, apply it. And if you're serious about ownership, strategy, and long game moves, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, man. That was a really, really good video. That was a good video. So when you look at what he was doing, and you look at even, people will tout what Jay-Z has accomplished and other artists like him, but that's not what they did, right? They wasn't doing this. They're not doing this. They actually built within the ecosystem that they were a part of. They never went and built their own ecosystem, right? And started adding ancillary things that worked within the ecosystem that they could control. They still working in that same ecosystem that they actually profited from, and that system has the control still to this day. So I can't think of anybody who's doing it that way that Nip envisioned it, that he was working on. If there's somebody that's doing it, I know Kendrick got his own stuff going on right now, but I'm not sure that he's doing this. Not sure that he's doing this. And that's not to knock what nobody's doing. I'm just saying with Nip, what we just watched, that's just a whole different level of vision and entrepreneurship that I haven't seen any other artist or any other Black person who came from the streets attempt to do. Now, if I'm missing something or there's somebody y'all know, point out in the comments. But man, let me know what y'all think about this, bro. Look, again, I ain't super big on all conspiracies, but look, I wouldn't say somebody's tripping if they said that because of these ideas and because of the implication, if they were to actually succeed on large scale and other Black artists and artists started doing this, I mean, there's a lot of people that got a vested interest in seeing the current system survive, right? It's crazy, man. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.